Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Silent Man podcast. I'm your host, Javier Talamantes. Thank you so much for allowing us this time, this space to bring a new insight into our show. This is all about Feedback Saturdays. We definitely want to hear about what's going on in your life, what's going on, what these episodes are triggering possibly in regards to how you're feeling, something that you heard, something that that just resonated with you, and we encourage any and all to give us comments on the comment section, and then also if anyone wants to remain anonymous, there's going to be an email in the description, and please just send it in, be anonymous, but at least give us something that you're feeling, something maybe you're going through, something that we can help, maybe possibly guide you, give you that support, give you that extra attention that, possibly you're not getting out there. And so it's going to be really great because we're a community. It's a Silent Man movement. We've got, a lot going on right now that's going to go ahead and bring us all together. So let's start with first feedback from our viewer from Germany. Great, awesome. Thank you so much. Representing out in Germany. The entire thing resonated with, especially where he talked about having some kind of fire that never stops burning within and how it takes effort to not let it out. You know, the I mean, every day it's one thing or the other, causing so much stress, breaking your whole being into pieces, and constantly keeping you in doubt. These internal conflicts, we often find ways to suppress them because, well, we're men and we can't show any form of weakness or the effect of the many trials and trails we face. We've been conditioned to live this way and accept this reality. However, we should also be kept aware that we're not alone in the struggle. Thank you so much from Germany. And it's really powerful what you just went ahead and mentioned because, when that episode was coming out, and the comments that I made about the fire, it's something that's within all of us. And then so when we're in a place in our life where we become almost like like one of those tea kettles, with the steam kind of just rising and just getting to the point where it's going to start whistling, that it's ready to blow. It's important for us to know that there's going to be tools that we are providing for you. And these things are some things that you already have. You just possibly forgot that you had them. Possibly you haven't used them in a very long time. Maybe you've just gotten into, like our viewer from Germany stated, it's just like you get into the zone where you're just doing things and just doing them, and and you're just being the man, right? And you're just taking care of things and shutting down, and then just providing, and it's very important that we understand that as men, we definitely want that acknowledgement of what we're doing, of who we're doing it for. And it's important for everyone around us to understand, like, a word of encouragement, would be great. Uh, take it for what it is. A word of encouragement can be something like, man, you're always on it. You're just doing great. You're amazing, and it's like that, just take it. Don't go into your mind and start saying, yeah, I'm great, because that's what you see, but I don't feel great. It's like, take it first, take that comment, take it, make it yours, and then afterwards, if you really want to have a conversation with anyone and you really want to tell them what's going on, ask for permission, number one, so they have permission also to give you any type of advice or also to provide support. So thank you so much once again from Germany. Now we have a viewer from California said, this needs to be cross-cultural breakthrough across the world. Think of the implications, profound revelation here. Thank you so much from California. It brings me to think that This is something that's in every single culture out there. And I've heard some of the people out there, when I've talked about this, where they say, well, you just don't understand, culturally it's different in my culture than it is in yours. And, and men are taught differently in my culture than in your culture. And I said, well, yeah, that technically is true. But at the same time, we have lots of things that actually bring us together in the sense of we're going through the same. It just it might look a little different, but at the end of the day, if we were to dissect it and we bring it to its pure form, we'll understand that, you know what? Yeah, it's like everyone's going through this. And as men, we are so in tune with what other men are going through that in some cases, throughout my day, I'll use myself as an example. I'm going through my day and I look at other men, different races, and from different cultures, but I'm looking at them, and it's like, they want to give you that nod, like they want to acknowledge you, or they want to possibly even talk to you or say something to you, but as men, we've been taught like just be macho, you're the toughest guy in the room, don't let anybody see your weakness. But I've approached a couple of people and said, "Hey, how you doing today? What do how's your day going? How you feeling today?" And then they're surprised. I mean, the first thing they do is they stop in their tracks and they start talking to me. And they basically give me a lot of insight, and it's a powerful thing if you really think about it, because all it took was me to acknowledge them. Acknowledge that, oh, hey, you're here. I see you. I see what you're going through. I see that pain. I feel that pain. We're all here to manage that pain, by being supportive of each other. And so, that nod that you sometimes give people, it could be a lot more than that nod if you truly want to go ahead and scratch the surface. So, another viewer, a female from London, said, "This was incredibly moving. The emotions conveyed through every frame, every pause, and the quiet strength of a father's love absolutely wonderful, absolutely powerful. Parent-child bonds are often unspoken, and you've shown exactly why this one speaks so loudly. Sometimes the most profound connections are shown, not spoken. Thank you for sharing such a human, tender slice of life. Subscribed instantly and would love to see more like this." Once again, thank you so much, from London. And, it's powerful, guys. It's really powerful when a female is tuning in to a man, the man's movement, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of us have, have that at home. And if we don't have that at home, we have that in our family. And, it's okay to share in cases where you feel like you really can't talk to anyone, or maybe you're not ready to talk to another man, or, it's okay for you to go ahead and reach out to a female in your life and, and be vocal in regards to what you're feeling. And, the powerful thing in that is that you get to vent, right? You get to take all that stress and that anxiety or anything you're feeling. You really get to shed it, and once you shed it, it's like you've dealt with it. Think about it like that. You've dealt with it, and even if it's just momentary for that day, because tomorrow's another day, and next moment's another moment. But at the end of the day, it's like, did we do something positive? Were we proactive? Did we take a step forward? Because I have to let you know that you have the permission to move forward moment by moment by moment, and you don't have to go back. You don't have to look back at anything that's ever happened that, possibly you feel like, you've got you've got something on it, some type of energy. Possibly you let that hold you back from moving forward, possibly in business, possibly in a relationship, possibly in just a day by day, and then we'll take it one step further than that. And so if you've got a child in your life, and in some cases it doesn't have to be a direct, a son or a daughter. It could be, somebody in your life. It could be your niece, your nephew. It could be somebody else's son. It could be somebody else's daughter. Because the kids, remember, kids, they don't know how to differentiate from, what you're going through and possibly what a mother's going through. So think about it this way. If if we work on ourselves and those kids in our lives that look up to us, right? They look up to us and they want to emulate us. So if we're working on ourselves and we're consistently doing something different in our lives to better it, right? These kids are going to see it and they're going to be like, hey, I really like this version of you. I really like, you're super cool. Like man, like I want to hang out with you more. You'll see that. It'll just change everything. And, and it's important that when you're feeling like this, you've got to go ahead and take the time to talk to that inner child in you, and you go back into into like your mind, and go back to when you were that age, and what were you feeling, and if you can remember, what were you going through, right? Because I know for a fact, I go back into my childhood, and it was just we were always out and about, We didn't have the luxury of having something in our hand or a computer or something, and something where we were at home. We were always on the streets. We were always just, bike riding, playing out on the streets, putting a ramp down on the middle of the street and just jumping it with our bikes. It was so much different back then than it is now. And so we can't allow the all-powerful phone, the all-powerful computer to go ahead and take our place. So we have to be proactive in regards to that. So thank you so much once again, from the bottom of my heart, from London. It humbles me that you took the time to go ahead and be a part of our movement, the Silent Man movement. So moving over to a viewer from Nigeria. Props to Nigeria, all my people out there in Nigeria. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is going to be explosive and powerful in regards to the wave that it's going to make amongst all us men. We're all we're in a brotherhood, and we just don't know it. We're, like I said, once again, I repeat it all the time, we're all so much the same. And at the same time, we're so different, right? But the same is the fact that we're all experiencing some type of pain, some type of anguish, some type of stress, some type of, indifferency, like something that like we don't feel okay with it. Even though we wake up every day, we get up, we do what we have to do. It's like, that's like not enough. That's not enough, because once again, we have to do the work, and doing the work means every single day we reach out and we support each other. Because if you want support, be supportive. If you want to have somebody care about you, then you care about them. So we have to, we get to take the first step in being different, right? And by being different, all I'm saying is, don't do what everyone else has been doing up to now. We're not strangers. And then, we're the 1 + 1 = 3. We've got all these amazing things that we have in common. And at the end of the day, we all want to win. We all want to go ahead and move forward in a positive way. So our viewer from Nigeria, lovely and very emotional. Thanks for this, Javier. Our program has really made it difficult for men to express emotions, and it's sad. We need to start making conscious efforts to fix this, and the podcast is one good starting point. So, I don't know how to tell you guys this. It's like, exactly what he just, what he just said is is so important for us to understand. You know, just the way it's easy for us to do it, we also take it as it's hard for us to do it, right? So the easiest way to do anything is just to say it, you know, and don't be afraid of what can happen because of it, because a lot of the times as men, we sometimes feel shame, sometimes we feel like, go back to like when you were a kid and you were in school and the teacher said, "Hey, who's got the answer to this?" And nobody wanted to raise their hands because you don't want to look what? You don't want to look, in some cases, foolish. In some cases, you don't want to look like you've, like, if you're, if, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, you just don't want to put yourself out there, right? Where kids maybe in this case look at it as an adult now. You don't want them to either ridicule you. You don't want them to think, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's asking these questions. I can't believe he's talking." It's like it's not like that, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's not. Because maybe, just maybe, think about it this way: if you speak up, maybe another man, maybe someone else in your space, and sometimes just talking, somebody can hear and somebody says, "Man, what you just said right now is something I've always wanted to ask myself. Why don't we talk to each other? Why don't we tell each other our problems? Especially to a stranger. I mean, think about it. If you really want to be anonymous, talk to a stranger. And if you talk to a stranger, they don't know your life. They don't know how you live. They don't know what you've been through, anything else. But I'm guaranteeing that they can easily kind of just get on the same level with you and say, similar to what you're going through, I'm going through the same things. You're not alone. And I'm glad that I'm not alone now, because now I've heard you. And because of your courage and because of your willingness to just step out and take a risk, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a risk. Think about it. You've just done good for someone else, and especially this is something that we are going to be discussing in future episodes. It's like, what is the mindset of that man that possibly hasn't been helped, possibly is hurting inside, and is screaming, inside for help and for somebody just to reach out and just to connect with them, or to bring them into the circle of brotherhood and allow them to just vent, right? And just to be like, think about it, where you're so tense, and then all of a sudden you talk and it's just like, oh my gosh, like you feel this relief, right? Because you just went ahead and just let go, and you don't have to carry that anymore. Like it's like a baggage. So just understand, as like what you may think. It's very hard to talk to someone you don't understand. Like, I'm going through some major things. It's like the same way I can say, "Man, I'm having an amazing day. I'm doing great. Everything's going my way." So why can't I say all the good stuff? But what about the stuff that's not going well, right? And remember, guys, this is not something that has to live forever. It can be a momentary thing. And you can stop it anytime you choose to. The moment that you make a conscious decision to stop it, I guarantee you something different will materialize and something different will happen. And it's not because of anything else, it's because you've chosen to do something different. And by right, you will get something different. And it will be in a positive way to help you manage and cope with the things that are going on, especially the stress and anxiety that we sometimes go through in the day, where it's like, it's the work, it's the bills, it's the family, it's this, it's that. And it's like, it's a lot. So I had a friend of mine, we just met yesterday for a quick bite, sat down, talked, and he told me something so, like, I mean, it floored me that back in November, he he um, he he went through something, and he didn't tell anyone. Even back then, he didn't tell me. We were getting to the point where we were becoming better friends, and so maybe he didn't trust me 100%, or maybe I didn't give him the open space to allow him to explain what was going on. But when he told me what it was, and he told me that he got really sick, and then he had to find a way to cure himself, and he did. By the way, he did. He told me that it was an amazing journey, an amazing experience. But at the end of the day, the thing that was affecting him the most, and the thing that he pinpointed, and what he was able to let go of, was stress. The stress was killing him. It was just like it was just eating him up alive. He was feeling like, oh my gosh, like he felt like he couldn't breathe. He felt like the world was coming down on him. A successful guy, he's got his own business, all that, but it was basically it was taking a toll on him. And now you see him, I saw him yesterday, and then all of a sudden he's just like, man, I feel great. I'm watching what I'm doing, eating, making sure that I don't let anything stress me out. If it's not for me, let it go. Even with business, if it's something that he knows for a fact he might do, and then it might not pan out, and he's going to end up paying out of pocket for maybe a mistake or something, he just flat out said, you know what, I prefer giving that client a discount on the service out of my pocket than to have to take that business, and then all of a sudden we're having major issues because of it. So he wasn't interested in it, and that was really, really powerful, because like I said, he was able to move forward from feeling that stress, and I don't think he talked to anyone. Basically from the conversation we were having yesterday, I was the first one. And the reason he opened up to me was because I started telling him about the Silent Man podcast, the movement, like everything that was going to happen, and the forum that we were building, and it's like this brotherhood we had, and this openness to be, to be real with each other, and he just opened up, and it was amazing. So, I gotta tell him, like, thank you so much for letting me in, and letting me be of service to you, and listening, and it meant a lot to me, and there was another gentleman that he heard the show. He basically he got to experience something he had already forgotten about, and I'll maybe go ahead and share some more about that in another episode, because I still have to go ahead and get permission to see if how far I'm able to go ahead and talk about that. So once again, like, click, what is like, click, and subscribe. We would love to go ahead and get more viewers, and get all of you to go ahead and help us grow this channel organically. But more than anything, let's be of service to other men. Let's go ahead and see how we can be part of their lives, how we can support them, how we can be of service, and and like I said, just let's all be brothers. Okay. So thank you so much, and we will go ahead and we'll be seeing each other soon.